Before anything else, hit like right now and subscribe because this kind of content doesn't show up all the time, and it helps a lot to keep deep, direct, no-nonsense breakdowns coming on everything that really matters in the NBA. With that done, let's get straight to the point. In recent weeks, two names have started to dominate behind-the-scenes conversations, forums, executives, and fans across the entire league: LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's not a coincidence. It's not an exaggeration, and it's definitely not something made up by overexcited fans. When two players at that level enter the rumor radar, there's always a structural reason behind it. On LeBron James's side, the picture is clear. He's 40 years old, but he's still playing at an elite level. He's not a symbolic player. He's not just locker room leadership. He still decides games, still carries heavy minutes, still reads the floor like few in history. The issue isn't individual performance. The issue is context. The Los Angeles Lakers are living through obvious instability, questionable decisions, a roster that changes constantly, difficulty building a reliable rotation, and above all, the feeling that the title window isn't fully aligned with what LeBron needs at this final stage of his career. When a player that big starts to sense the project isn't clearly pointed toward a championship, the market automatically starts to move. Not because he publicly demanded a trade, but because the entire league knows how to read signals. And in this case, there's no shortage of signals. On the other side, Giannis Antetokounmpo is dealing with a different situation, but it's just as delicate. He's in his physical, technical, and mental prime. He's still one of the most dominant players in the NBA, capable of impacting offense, defense, transition, and the team's emotional edge. But the atmosphere in Milwaukee isn't calm. Reports of frustration, chemistry issues, recurring injuries across the roster, and disappointing playoff exits have started to create a heavy vibe. When a franchise player begins to question whether the support around him is enough, the domino effect is immediate. This isn't about a lack of individual talent. It's about direction. It's about a vision for the future. And when that vision doesn't look clear, rumors stop being just speculation and start becoming real possibilities. That's where the Golden State Warriors enter the picture, and not by accident. Whenever a superstar seems unhappy or unsure about his team's path, the Warriors' name comes up, not because it's easy, but because the context is unique. Stephen Curry is still playing at an MVP level. The franchise culture is built to win. The locker room understands what it means to compete for a title. And maybe the most important factor, there's an internal awareness that the Curry era is entering its final chapters. That completely changes how decisions get made. For stars who still dream about rings, legacy, and history, Golden State becomes automatically attractive. It's not just about beautiful basketball. It's about a real chance to chase a title immediately. Starting with the LeBron James to Warriors scenario. On the court, the idea is so powerful, it sounds absurd. Curry and LeBron together would create one of the smartest offenses in history. Game reading, spacing, passing, decision-making at the highest level. LeBron wouldn't have to carry everything. Curry would have even more freedom. It would be an instant contender. No debate. But financial and strategic reality creates massive obstacles. LeBron's contract is heavy. The Lakers wouldn't simply let a player of that magnitude go without significant return. That means Golden State would have to give up important pieces. Jonathan Kuminga goes straight into that conversation, a young player with upside, explosive athleticism, and room to grow. Beyond him, names like Draymond Green, or even bigger contracts, could get pulled in to balance salaries. Draft picks would be demanded too. The central question is simple but brutal. Would the Warriors be willing to sacrifice the future to go all in on right now? If the goal is strictly to win one more title while Curry is still at this level, the answer could be yes. But it's not a trivial decision. It's a move that shuts doors, shortens windows, and wipes out any medium-term rebuilding plan. And if the LeBron conversation is already intense, it becomes even heavier when the name is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis with Curry would be an absolute nightmare for any defense in the league. An unstoppable pick and roll, lethal transition, extreme spacing, and a dominant defensive presence. Without exaggeration, it would be one of the scariest fits in modern NBA basketball. Instantly, Golden State would enter as a title favorite. But here comes the harshest reality check of all. Giannis isn't just a star. He's a franchise player. If Milwaukee ever decides to trade him, the price will be sky high. We're not talking about one young piece in a pick. We're talking about the entire young core. Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks. Practically the heartbeat of the Warriors' future would be gone. It would be an all-or-nothing move. No plan B, no soft rebuild, just a full bet on the present. That's the crossroads. Trade the future for a superstar. Take pressure off Curry right now, but accept there won't be margin for error later. A short bench. Few picks. No long-term security. If Giannis truly wants out and the Bucks reach a point of desperation, Golden State could become one of the few teams with enough assets, culture, and urgency to take that swing. It's not likely, but it's not impossible either. For now, everything stays in the rumor zone. No concrete negotiations, no official confirmation. But the pattern is clear. The Warriors are watching, they're monitoring, they're evaluating the right moment for a major move. In the NBA, when time, salary, and pressure line up, even the unlikely can happen. When you look at this scenario more calmly, it becomes clear that the Golden State Warriors are living through a rare moment in franchise history. It's not a rebuild. It's not the absolute peak. It's a dangerous middle territory. Stephen Curry still plays like one of the best in the world, but the clock doesn't stop. Every season carries more weight, because there's no guarantee this level stays sustainable for much longer. That's exactly what turns rumors into serious internal conversations. The front office knows small moves don't solve it anymore. Rotation tweaks, minor gambles, or quiet trades no longer change the team's tier. To become a real title threat again, it takes something that shifts the axis of the league, and that's why names like LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo show up so strongly. Not because they're easy, but because they're among the very few who can change everything at once. In LeBron's case, there's a factor that matters a lot and goes beyond the court: the mental and tactical fit. LeBron raises the level of everyone beside him. He organizes, directs, corrects, and makes decisions that relieve pressure from others. In Golden State, that would mean less wear on Curry, less constant creative responsibility, and more freedom to play off the ball, something that has always supercharged his game. On top of that, LeBron wouldn't require a complete rebuild of the system. The opposite. He'd adapt to an environment that already understands spacing, reads, and constant movement. The transition would be quick. The problem remains the cost. Giving up young players, picks, and maybe even symbolic locker room pieces is a decision that shakes the team's identity. With Giannis, the tone changes. It's not just fit, it's transformation. Giannis would completely reshape how the Warriors attack and defend. He would solve long-standing issues like rim protection, rebounding, and physical playoff basketball. At the same time, he'd create new offensive dynamics with Curry drawing doubles and Giannis attacking open space at speed. But unlike LeBron, Giannis still has many elite years ahead. That makes the price almost prohibitive. There's no deal without deep pain. There's no scenario where Golden State leaves that trade without severely compromising its future. It would be the definitive end of any post-Curry continuity plan. Everything would be put on the table. That's the question echoing inside the franchise. Is it worth it? If the goal is strictly to maximize immediate championship odds, the answer tends to be yes. The NBA is cruel to hesitation. Windows close fast. Opportunities don't repeat. And history shows that teams that dare, even if they pay a huge price later, end up remembered for titles, not for what might have been. On the other hand, there's a real risk that even with a superstar next to Curry, the title still doesn't happen. Injuries, unexpected fits, strong rivals. In that scenario, Golden State would be left with no young players, no picks, and no flexibility to respond. It would be a hard, long, unavoidable stretch. That's exactly why, up to now, no explosive move has happened. The franchise is calculating every variable, reading the league environment, and waiting for clearer signals. a formal request, an obvious rupture, a sudden shift in direction in Los Angeles or Milwaukee. In the meantime, the current roster tries to hold up, internal development, scheme adjustments, the hope that the group functions better than it looks. But deep down, everyone knows it might not be enough. The most interesting part is that, regardless of which name is closer, the simple fact that Golden State is constantly tied to these conversations shows something very clear. The franchise isn't willing to passively watch the end of the Curry era. If there's a real chance to extend this window, even if it's expensive, it will be considered. LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo represent different paths to the same goal. One is a bet on maximum experience, immediate impact, and historic basketball IQ. The other is a bet on dominant force, physical power, and the possibility of controlling the league for more than one season. Both bring risks. Both bring massive rewards. At the end of the day, it's still all rumors. But in the NBA, rumors are often the first stage of reality. When the pieces start moving, the entire league feels it. And now I want your opinion. If you had to choose, who makes more sense for the Golden State Warriors, LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo? Would you sacrifice the future for one more title right now? The NBA landscape is constantly evolving, and one of the moves that has generated a lot of speculation is the potential arrival of Kai Sotto to the Golden State Warriors for the 2025 season. This rumor has been gaining momentum recently, with reports indicating that the team is in discreet negotiations to secure the signing of the Filipino center, who has been making a name for himself in international leagues. If this transaction goes through, it would not only change the game on the court, but also have a massive impact off the court, especially within the Filipino community, which already feels represented by Sotto in many parts of the world. Standing at 2.18 meters tall, Kai Sotto stands out as an imposing presence on the court, but his influence goes beyond his height. He is a complete athlete, whose skills make him one of the most exciting prospects in the NBA. His combination of height, wingspan, and technical abilities is rare. As a defender, Sotto is an effective shot blocker, using his excellent reaction time and long wingspan to protect the rim. But it's not just his defense that catches attention. His offensive ability, especially his mid-range shooting, sets him apart from many other centers in the league. His versatility on offense makes him a key asset for teams that prioritize modern basketball, which demands diverse skills from its players. Kai Sotto's development didn't happen overnight. Born in the Philippines, a country where basketball is almost a religion, he quickly drew attention due to his natural talent and, most importantly, his dedication. His journey as a player began early, but to reach an international level, he had to venture outside his homeland. This led him to play in the National Basketball League, NBL, in Australia, where he faced a much higher level of competition. His ability to stand out in such a competitive setting solidified him as a cornerstone player for his teams, both offensively and defensively. Kai not only proved his worth but also became an icon of Filipino basketball, showcasing the potential of the nation on the global stage. Kai Sotto's journey continued when he moved to the B-League in Japan. There, he had the chance to further develop, facing top-tier opponents while taking the name of the Philippines to new heights. His adaptation to international basketball was remarkable, and his skills as a defender and his ability to represent Filipino culture made him one of the most admired players in the league. Now, with the possibility of joining the NBA, Sotto feels ready to take on the greatest challenge of his career so far, and the team that might help him in this process is the Golden State Warriors, a franchise known for its fast and dynamic style of play. But beyond being an innovative team, the Warriors also have a clear need in their roster: the lack of a dominant presence in the paint. This has been a deficiency that, while the team has overcome it in many seasons with its fast-paced play and three-point shooting, remains an area that could be strengthened. And this is exactly where Kai Sotto fits in. If signed, Kai's impact on the Warriors would be immediate. His ability to grab rebounds, both defensively and offensively, would provide a significant advantage to the team, especially during fast breaks, which are a hallmark of the Warriors' playing style. Additionally, his ability to protect the rim would be a valuable addition to the team's defense. In moments when the team needs a strong presence in the paint, Sotto could be the player capable of making a difference. The Warriors' offense would also benefit from his presence. His ability to shoot mid-range would open up more space for perimeter players, allowing the Golden State team to further explore its fast-paced plays and three-point shooting. Sotto's offensive flexibility is something the Warriors need to continue innovating and remain one of the top forces in the NBA. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Hit the bell to get the latest news firsthand. Thank you for watching and see you next time.